WTBQ.
Hello and welcome to ANGT Radio 93.5 WTBQ, America's Next Great Trainer. We are here to educate, motivate, inspire, empower you to be the best you can be by providing you with advice, tips, and information from the best of the best, the great ones. And with us tonight, we have Coach Eric Brozer from Beverly Hills, California. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Rob?
Good, thanks. I want to get right into it tonight. I want to break a few things down. First, we're going to start off with some motivation and some tips from you as a trainer. What do you find best route or direction to take as far as motivating individuals to take it to the next level, be it a beginner getting off the couch or someone who's maybe reached a plateau, taking it to the next level? So let's start with the beginner.
Well, I mean, a beginner, should start at the beginning. I mean, there's no need to. I think sometimes when beginners think about undergoing an exercise or nutrition program, they think too much. They think too far ahead, and they think about what an advanced level person is doing, and it seems too complicated, or it seems too difficult an undertaking. When really, when you're a beginner, you can make progress on a very simple program. It could be as simple as, 3 workouts a week for a half an hour. It could be simple as just pulling some junk food out of your diet, starting to incorporate more healthy foods into your diet, instead of eating, missing breakfast and eating, a bad lunch and dinner, maybe having 4 smaller meals in the day with some healthy snacks in between. Something like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be simple. And you can make tremendous progress on it for a very long time. And then when you're ready to step up to the next level, you'll be more than ready to do so.
So I think key words there, keeping it simple. I think everyone tends to make things complicated, but keeping it simple is great advice. And then moving on to, well, before we move into that, I do want to mention that Eric is a writer for muscleandfitness.com. Eric is posting blogs, I believe, on a weekly basis, Eric?
Yeah, I'm doing 1 to 2 articles a week there, and people seem to be enjoying them.
Okay, so now moving on to the more advanced trainer / bodybuilder. What advice could you give to them in regards to myself, too? You advise me, you give me my exercise programs on a daily basis and my nutritional advice. You reach a plateau. What could elevate you to go to the next level when you sort of feel like you reached that plateau?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're an advanced trainee, then you're already driven. I mean, you're a motivated individual. You're driven within to become better. The word complacency is not in your vocabulary, but, like you said, you can get stuck and you can get stagnant. The first thing you need to realize is, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. It's just not going to work. And sometimes, the fixes that worked before, like, say, some people are like, well, I need to just push more weight in this exercise or that exercise and I'll start to grow again or get bigger, or maybe if I just add a few more sets or do a little bit more work. Sometimes those types of fixes that worked before don't work anymore. So I think that at that point in time you have to do, a couple of different things, which is you need to do some research, some, reading, from some experts in the field, and learn about different training techniques, different dietary techniques that are built for people who have been training for many years and have reached a point of stagnation and need to push to the next level. Sometimes there's some exercises you haven't thought of. There's some training techniques you've never done. There's ways of changing your rest periods during workouts, changing the training tempo in terms of how quickly you move the weights, changing all types of different variables in your program that you've never done before that can help you reach the next level. And another thing that you could do is something that you did is you reached out to me. You could reach out to a coach who, works with professional athletes, who works with bodybuilders on high levels, and perhaps work with them for a period of time, whether it be a month or whether it be years, depending on, what it is that you're after, and learn from them, and take on their knowledge and their ability to transform people and use it for yourself.
I agree 100%. Definitely people offer advice. I think everyone can share information that everyone could take something from. But back to what you were saying about reading, I think knowledge is so important. I think that's also a big step, whether you're just beginning or even for the advanced. I mean, always continuing to educate yourself, gain that knowledge. And on that note, as you're aware, I'm working with Muscle and Fitness. They have men's fitness, Muscle and Fitness, Flex, Shape, and even the celebrity-driven magazines, Star and OK. What the celebrities do to stay in a great shape and following them. But I believe that by reinforcing and educating yourself on steps, your plateaus, you can exceed those levels, and you also can go from where you are from just beginning or not doing anything to doing something, to taking it from doing something to doing more of something. So again, I would encourage all of you listeners out there, Muscle and Fitness, Men's Fitness, Flex, Shape, OK, and Star magazines, even though they're mostly geared to the celebrities, they do offer great advice from celebrity trainers in regards to what the celebrities do to get in great shape. And each magazine is geared to a specific target audience. Muscle and Fitness could be general fitness. Flex magazine is more towards the bodybuilder types. And then you have Shape magazine targeted to the women. And then again, OK and Star magazines. So Eric, you have your articles going to Muscle and Fitness. So let's go over your last article on muscleandfitness.com. Explain to the readers a little bit about your topic.
I believe the last article that I wrote about had to do with the mystery of adding a peak to your biceps. And, that's something that, a lot of people talk about. They see somebody flex their arm, and, some guys have, like these mountainous-looking biceps, and other guys have biceps that are more long and flat-looking, and they wonder how can they go from that long, flat-looking bicep to the mountainous-type bicep that maybe like an Arnold Schwarzenegger showed when he was a champion bodybuilder. And the truth of the matter is that's really more of a matter of genetics than anything else. We're born with a genetic map, basically, of, how our muscles insert and how they will be shaped, and that's something that can be altered to some degree by the types of exercises you use, but again, it depends on what your parents have given you as to what your basic shape is going to be. However, when it comes to adding a little bit more height to the biceps, what I was discussing in the article was working a little thought about muscle group called the brachialis, which is a muscle that lies underneath the biceps, and it does help to flex the arm in curling motions, but it's not thought about as much as the biceps, and it's often underworked. When that muscle is developed and worked directly and it grows, it actually can help to push the biceps up a little bit higher, which can create the illusion of having a higher biceps or the illusion of having a higher peak, without actually altering your genetic shape. So I discussed the exercises that were best for working the brachialis, which are exercises like hammer curls and reverse curls and all the variations of these exercises, where the wrists are the palms are facing one another, or the palms are facing the floor during the curling exercise, which will basically disengage some of the biceps from the movement and make the brachialis a stronger flexor of the arm, so that it does more of the work and it gets more stimulated to grow. So that was what that article was about. It seemed to be very popular and clear up the whole thing about whether you could peak your biceps and with certain exercises, or if you could change the shape, or you can't change the shape, or what you could do for it. So I hope that exercise was really helpful for people.
I look forward to reading your articles each week. Let's move into creatine. We spoke briefly about this on our last program, but I also want to go over it again. So maybe to clear a lot of the unanswered questions out there up. But there's different types of, actually I should say proteins. The proteins that are offered out there, whey, casein, eggs, soy, etc. What are the differences? Say concentrate, isolate, hydrolysate, etc. What advice could you give, and what is required of an individual in regards to their training, and of course the degree of their training?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the various protein powders that are out on the market, they're usually based from some form of milk-derived protein, whether it be, like you mentioned, whey or casein. Then, of course, there's egg white protein or egg albumin protein, and then there's also soy protein, and you'll even see some more esoteric proteins out there like pea protein or brown rice protein, those types of things. I personally feel that the most effective proteins for people who are looking to transform their physiques are the whey proteins and the casein proteins and the egg proteins. There's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of soy protein in there. There's nothing wrong with the brown rice proteins and these other proteins, but I think those should be used in smaller amounts or not at all. You should focus mostly on the whey protein. Is an excellent protein source for pre and post workout because whey protein is absorbed very quickly into the bloodstream, especially if it's an isolate, and even more quickly if it's a hydrolysate. They'll get into the system very, very quickly and increase blood levels of amino acids very quickly, which is something that's very important to do, especially post-workout and pre-workout as well, so that you have those amino acids available to you for growth and repair during and after your training sessions. Casein protein is a protein that is absorbed much more slowly into the system over a period of hours, and it's better utilized as a protein that's, can be if you have a long time in between meals, if you know that you're not going to eat for several hours after having your protein, or if you're going to have something before bed and you don't prefer to have some type of food. If you want to have a protein, casein is excellent for this because it'll sort of trickle feed amino acids into the system very slowly over a period of hours. So it's much better for times like these where you're not going to be able to get any more protein in for several more hours, which of course will happen while you're sleeping. Then again, there's also various types of caseins. The best type of casein is a micellar casein, but you could also go with caseinate or calcium caseinate or potassium caseinate, or those various different types. The main thing that you want to do with when searching for a protein powder is just to go with a quality manufacturer, somebody you could trust. There's plenty of excellent companies out there that produce proteins, and they generally will have the highest quality, the best manufacturing processes, and which will yield the most purest types of protein, which is, of course, what you want to put into your body.
That is great information, Eric. Thank you very much. Now, moving on to creatine. Your thoughts on creatine and possibly should beginners, do you feel, consume creatine, and if so, how much? And also in regards to more of the elite athlete, professional sports, and of course, you have your bodybuilders, but professional athletes, for example, would you advise a dosage and how much of creatine?
Well, creatine has obviously become one of the most popular supplements in the sports supplement industry, and for good reason, because it's one of the most effective, if not the most effective, product ever introduced onto the market. It's the most well-researched and the most, like I like to say, the most in the trenches successful product, being that it works for just about everybody who uses it. And it's, if used properly by healthy individuals, it's extremely safe. And it is not a steroid or anything like that, which some people have the misnomer about. Creatine is something that's found naturally in certain foods, especially red meat. And it's an excellent product for anybody who's looking to gain size and strength from a workout program. And it can be used by beginners, intermediates, and advanced people. I wouldn't necessarily think that feel that a beginner who literally just started lifting weights necessarily needs creatine. I think that beginners will make fantastic progress just simply by engaging in a solid weight training program and a proper dietary approach. But I think once you've been training for several months and you decide that you want to pursue it further and you are very interested in building more size and strength, there's nothing wrong with adding creatine into the program. And there's not too much of a difference between the way it needs to be used by beginners, intermediates, and advanced athletes, because generally what you want to do with creatine is you want to saturate the muscle cells with the creatine, and then at that point there's no reason to take more than 5 grams of creatine a day, because any extra that you take will be wasted. Once the cells are already saturated, they pretty much will remain saturated by taking 5 and sometimes even less, 2.5 to 3 grams of creatine a day will keep the cells saturated, and that will be for pretty much any body weight and any level of athlete. But when it comes to the biggest debate is whether you need to load the creatine with larger amounts in the beginning or not. And really it can be done either way. You could do a loading phase for the first 5 to 7 days where you do take 20 to 25 grams of creatine a day, which would be about 4 or 5 5-gram doses split up throughout the day. And all this will do is it'll saturate the cells with creatine very, very quickly, so that after the 7 days, you can drop down to the 5 grams of creatine a day or 3. If you choose not to go this route, you can also just start right away from the beginning with 5 grams a day, and it'll just take a little bit longer to saturate your cells with the creatine, but you will saturate your cells. So either way is fine. As far as cycling the creatine, there are some people out there who believe you should take creatine 365 days a year, and there are other people who feel that you should be cycling it. I personally feel cycling it is a better method of use over time. I believe that cycles of about 12 weeks on and 4 weeks off is more productive than just taking it every day, year after year. So I feel that you should use a loading phase for 5 to 7 days, saturate the cells very, very quickly, then drop down to 3 to 5 grams a day, stay on it for about 12 weeks, and then give yourself about a 4-week break before returning to it again. That is what I have found best for myself and all the athletes and bodybuilders that I work with.
Now, would you recommend the creatine for the high school athlete? I would be certain that you would.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, when you're talking about, kids, so to speak, it's always good that, parents are involved. They should be involved, in any type of supplement regimen that the kids are, involved in or going to be engaging in. You might want to get a doctor involved as well, just to make sure that, the child is healthy, to make sure that there's no issues that, need to be dealt with. That's just a precaution. But in terms of, like I said, if you're a healthy individual, healthy functioning body, if you're, and you're using the supplement properly, you're not abusing it, creatine is a very effective, non-side effect laden supplement that high school athletes can absolutely use and will for sure benefit performance, strength, and muscle mass without any negative effects on the body whatsoever.
Okay, moving on to testosterone boosters sold over the counter, say in the vitamin shops or vitamin stores, GNCs, etc. Do you recommend, and how much?
Well, that really depends on. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of herbal based and natural testosterone boosting compounds that are out there. Every company has, their own form of this type of supplement. Every company will boast that they have the best form of this type of, of product. And there are a lot of good ones out there. I mean, I represent a company called Premium Nutraceuticals, and we put out a natural testosterone boosting supplement called Paragon, which is already creating quite a buzz after just a few months of being on the market. Because it's truly working for individuals. People are seeing and feeling the results. And I think that this is the type of thing that teenagers should stay away from. I don't even think until you're at least 25 years old you should even think about a testosterone-boosting supplement, because up till this point in time, your body will be producing plenty of testosterone for muscle growth and strength, and there'll be really no reason to try to boost it any further. And I don't think that you even will be able to boost it any further, because with all of these natural testosterone boosters, your body's not going to put out limitless amounts of testosterone. There is a negative feedback loop, and if your testosterone is already high, like it's going to be from, age 16 to 25, your body's probably not going to put out any more from an herbal-based booster. But after about age 25, natural testosterone levels begin to decline, and that's where I think that these boosting products become very beneficial. I don't think they should be used year-round. It's another product that I think should be cycled, not because it's dangerous to use year-round, but because I don't think it's effective if used for more than about 6 to 8 weeks at a time. I think your body gets used to it and will stop being affected by it. So I think cycles of about 6 to 8 weeks on one of these boosting products and about 3 to 4 weeks off, going back and on and off like that, is the most effective way to use it. And basically, it's you could try it again. Go with companies that have very good reputations, companies that have some scientific backing behind their products, which we definitely have with Paragon. Learn a little bit more about the nutrients that you see that are in the products. Read up on them, see if they have any studies behind them, and if you find a good product that's working for you, continue to use it. If it's not working for you, it doesn't mean that testosterone boosters don't work. It just means you might have to go with another product, another company, that has different compounds in it or maybe different amounts.
Well, we are with Eric Broser from Premium Nutraceuticals. Coach Eric Broser will be back with us in a minute. Thank you very much, Eric. We will be back in a couple of minutes. ANGT Radio 93.5 WTBQ.
Tired of your present job? Long commute? Long hours? Ready for an exciting new career? Join the WTBQ sales staff and help local retailers grow their business through advertising on WTBQ, Orange County's news and entertainment station. Earn good money and meet new people. Call the sales department at 651-1110. That's 651-1110. Whether you're looking for full or part-time, start on the road to a new career today with WTBQ.
Advance All Parts Monster Jam. February 1st and 2nd. See Monster Jam World Champions Bounty Hunter versus El Toro Loco versus Grave Digger. Along with more of your favorite superstars. Shockwave, Thrasher, Scarlet Bandit, Son of a Digger. And don't miss the Jet Golf Cart, Quad Wars, and Megasaurus. Want more? Adults can save $5 on seats with a discount coupon from Advance Auto Parts. Plus, before Friday's 7:30 p.m. and Saturday's 2 p.m. show, meet your favorite driver, get their autograph, and get up close with the monster trucks at the pre-show Party in the Pits. Pit passes are just $10. Make sure to stop by Advance Auto Parts so you can save $5 on adult seats. Get your tickets and pit passes at Ticketmaster. Icon Center box office charge at 800-745-3000 or at Ticketmaster.com. Tickets subject to convenience and handling charges. All seats $2 more day of show. See coupon for restrictions and details. The Advance Auto Parts Monster Jam, February 1st and 2nd. Izod Center.
WTBQ weather.
Well, temperatures will be dropping quickly this evening. It'll be partly cloudy overnight. Lows will drop all the way down to the single digits out there, and there could be a couple of flurries. Now, a couple breaks of morning sun tomorrow. Highs will only reach near 20 degrees. Now, we'll have another cold night Wednesday night down to 10 degrees. But then on Thursday, we'll be dry with a partly sunny day. It'll still be breezy with highs in the mid-20s. From the WTBQ Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Mahalik.
WTBQ.
Hello, welcome back to ANGT Radio 93.5 WTBQ. Think strong, stay strong, be strong, never give up, never give it in, get up. One more round, one more time. We are with Coach Eric Brozer from Beverly Hills, California, with PNI Premium Nutraceuticals. Eric, I just wanted to talk to you about your background and share with the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Wow, that could take a while. You have a few hours?
We sure. Well, we have. Let's see. We're down to 30 minutes.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been involved in this industry pretty much in every facet of the industry for over 20 years now. That's as a professional bodybuilder, as a writer, an author, trainer to athletes, bodybuilders, models, actors, and everybody in between. And I've been a gym owner. I've worked with many supplement companies in many different regards. So, yeah, I've been involved in this for a very long time, like I said, in every facet, and my career continues to evolve as time goes by. And now I'm set up in Beverly Hills, California. I'm currently working with Premium Nutraceuticals, and we're also coming out in partnership with myself and Premium Nutraceuticals are coming out with a line of products called Brozer Built International, which will be excellent protein, vitamins, fat burners, all types of supplements that will augment the Premium Nutraceuticals line, not compete with it, but augment it. And I work with clientele all over the world. I have an online training business so that I'm able to consult with bodybuilders, athletes, and actors, actresses, models, and everything from all over the globe. And, of course, I do have some select one-on-one clientele as well. And still continuing to compete as a professional bodybuilder and doing fitness modeling and writing for, Planet Muscle Magazine, Iron Man Magazine, and now for muscleandfitness.com. And just continuing to, push the fitness movement and
doing what you love to do.
Absolutely, doing made the passion that I had as a child to be a big strong guy. I turned that into becoming a bodybuilder and then a trainer, and made it into my way of life.
Following the passion, that's a whole conversation in itself. People finding it within themselves to make that change, especially when you love to do something, at a certain time in life, a lot of factors come into play, especially the fear factor and, of course, security in making any significant change in your life. You, as a matter of fact, are from Long Island originally, and making that transition, that had to be a little difficult. Or maybe not.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I was born in Brooklyn, moved to Long Island when I was 5, and I was, bodybuilding successfully and training people on Long Island for several years. And then I opened up a training studio called Body Effects in my hometown of Belmore, and ran that for several years. And then I really wasn't sure what I wanted my next move to be. I had started doing some writing for a couple of magazines, and I felt like I wanted my effect to be more global. And I was offered an opportunity to go to Florida and start working for a very big nutritional supplement company at the time, and sort of be in charge of their social media and do a lot of writing for them and offer tips and customer service. And I decided to take the job, and I moved out to Florida and spent many years there, and definitely enjoyed the warmer weather than I did in New York. And
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I fell in love. I mean, I'd always loved, warm weather. I'd always wanted to live in a warm weather place, so it seemed like a tremendous opportunity. It was definitely difficult leaving Long Island behind and my family and friends. And but I knew that I had to make the next move, and that seemed the right thing to do. And that really was the beginning of my career as it is today. That was the genesis, was moving to Florida and starting to work for a worldwide known supplement company, because it allowed me to make a lot of contacts and meet a lot of people and get my words and written words and spoken words out there to a lot more, and made me a lot more well known. and allowed me to become what I am today. So it certainly was a great move, and now I'm in California, and I love it here as well, and moving on to the next phase of my career.
Well, that's awesome. And moving on, Eric, I want to go over a few more things. Pre-workout, post-workout drinks, or consumption of foods. Your recommendation for, again, obviously the more advanced athlete, professional athlete, bodybuilder, they will require maybe something different, but your opinions on that?
Well, this is something that you and I have discussed before, and it's definitely a point that needs to be reiterated over and over again. I don't think it can be spoken about enough how important pre- and post-workout nutrition is. Obviously, nutrition throughout the day is important, but there certainly is a special need before training to fuel your workouts and after training to recuperate from your workouts. And this really goes from, the beginner to the advanced athlete. Obviously, there are going to be somewhat different needs depending on exactly what kind of training you do, depending on how intense your training is, how long you're training for, but the basis still lies in the same nutritional points, which is you definitely want to have some form of protein both before and after training. Like we mentioned before, whey protein is a very, very beneficial source of protein to have both before and after training because it's very fast acting. It gets into the system quickly, which will help you to have amino acids, proteins running through your system while you're training, which is very important. And again, another dose after your training because it helps with the recuperative process, muscle building, muscle repair, even immune system repair, and those types of things. Does it have to be whey protein? No, it doesn't have to be whey protein. It can be, any form of protein. It can be, chicken. It can be fish. It can be egg whites. These things do require digestion, which is why they're not quite as beneficial as a whey protein, which is absorbed so quickly. But hey, you don't have to necessarily, go to a supplement store and buy whey protein if you prefer food. Just make sure that you're getting some type of quality protein before and after training. As well, you also want to have some type of source of energy. If you're somebody who is looking to build muscle, if somebody who is looking to increase performance, then you want to combine that protein with some form of a carbohydrate before training. I prefer things like oatmeal, sweet potato, brown rice, carbohydrates that burn slowly, that don't raise your insulin up too high, so that your blood sugar stays stable and you have good energy throughout your training session. If you're someone who their main goal is burning body fat, then you might want to keep the carbohydrates out of that meal for pre-workout and just go with protein and like a healthy fat source like natural peanut butter or almonds or walnuts or something like that, because actually having less carbohydrates in the system will help your body to burn more body fat during the workout than if you do take the carbohydrates in. No matter what your goal is, once you're done with training, combine with the protein some type of carbohydrate source. At this time, it's very good to use a carbohydrate that's quicker acting, which would be like a white rice, white potato, rice cakes, corn grits, those types of things, because they are absorbed very quickly. They do spike your insulin levels. But at the post-workout meal, this is something that's very beneficial because spiking the insulin levels will help nutrients, that's amino acids, the carbohydrates themselves, and any type of supplements like creatine and amino acids. The insulin will actually help to pull these things into the system, into the muscle cells very, very quickly. And also, when your post-workout meal is being eaten, your body is metabolically set up to push nutrients towards the muscle cells and not towards fat cells. So this is a safe time to raise insulin levels up high. So like I said, before and after, some type of a protein, preferably whey, slow-burning carbohydrate before or a healthy fat, and after training, a faster acting carbohydrate to spike insulin and move those nutrients into the muscle cells very quickly.
Okay, now in regards to water, consuming water per day, and that also can be different dependent upon the level of training that one is doing. But let's just take the average person, for example. What do you feel the average person should consume a day?
It's hard to make a blanket generalized statement for everybody, but somewhere like around a gallon a day is good for most people. Does this mean that you have to walk around like you see some people do?
Me being one of them.
Yeah, well, I do it too, and that's okay. If that's your lifestyle, and you're 100% committed to it, then yes, we're going to walk around with our water bottles, and we're going to make sure that we drink, throughout the day the specific amounts we're looking for. This is something that I spoke about before with beginners, that they may see other people do, go, I'm not going to do this, I can't do this, I don't want to walk around with a gallon water bottle a day. You don't have to do that. Just make sure that, you're trying to drink, like they say, maybe 8 glasses of water a day, plus also you're obviously going to be drinking other fluids as well. People are going to be drinking coffee, they're going to be drinking juices, they're going to be drinking, even diet sodas and those types of things, which does contribute to your overall water consumption for the day. But you should make sure that, for every, glass of whatever it is that you're drinking, if you have, a cup of coffee in the morning, you should have a couple of glasses of water, on top of that, to compensate a little bit, because, you don't want to just be drinking things like coffee and sodas and stuff like that. You do want to get pure, fresh water into your system as well. But don't get overly hung up with the exact amount that you're drinking. Just try to be consistent. If you're thirsty, try to go for water. If you're involved in exercise, you should be sipping at the water fountain every few minutes, or you should be carrying water around with you at that time. You don't have to become obsessed with it, but definitely it's something to think about, because drinking water will help you to lose body fat. It'll help you to digest food better. It'll help you to feel better and stronger, and it'll help keep you hydrated. The last thing you want to do is become dehydrated at any point during the day.
In regards to fruits, and also throughout the course of the day, how much fruits and vegetables should it be with every meal, and any other advice you could give?
Well, I'm a big proponent of vegetables, and this is funny coming from me, because when I was younger, I never touched them. Vegetables are like, I don't have any, room for those things at all. And then that was even when I was a bodybuilder for many, many years. I stayed away from vegetables, but I have learned, how beneficial vegetables can be, because number one, they're just absolutely filled with so many nutrients that you don't get anywhere else. They're filled with fiber. They're so good for digestion, especially of proteins, and keeping, things moving along in the system properly. And like I said, there's so many nutrients. I try to get vegetables in about 4 times a day. If I can get them in with every single meal, I will. That doesn't mean that I overload the meal with it, but some type of vegetable, whether it be, I'm very big into greens. I love broccoli, asparagus, green beans, spinach, salads, those types of things. Having that with each meal if you can, or at least 3 or 4 times a day, is excellent. As far as fruits go, fruits are very healthy, without a doubt, also filled with nutrients, natural nutrients that are, so good for you. But at the same time, the difference between fruits and vegetables is that with fruits, there is fructose, which is the natural fruit sugar. This does vary somewhat from fruit to fruit. And you have to be a little careful with fructose, because fructose can be, if it's taken in too large amounts, it is very easily turned into body fat. It is not digested all that well in large amounts. That does not mean you should be cutting fruit completely out of your diet, but you should try to limit fruit intake to maybe just a couple of times a day, especially first thing in the morning, or perhaps before a workout, are good times to utilize fruit. But if you're looking especially to control your body fat levels, I wouldn't overdo the fruit, even though a lot of people think, oh, fruit's healthy. Fruit has no fat in it.
Exactly.
It does have a lot of fruit sugar. It is sugar. It doesn't spike your insulin the way table sugar does, but because of its makeup, and without getting too far into the chemistry here, because of the specific nature of fructose, it can be turned into body fat very, very easily. So just, in moderation. In
regard to food labels, I know we have a wide variety of listeners from different backgrounds, so I try to open it up, but also to appeal to each particular group. But let's start with reading labels. I think there's, like you said earlier, a big a misunderstanding, I should say, like even in regards to or respect to fruits. You know, people think healthy right away when in fact trying to lose weight, that could in turn hurt them consuming too much of that. So I want to break down macronutrients and micronutrients and explain the purpose of each. So we'll start with macronutrients with the protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So we'll start with the protein and the purpose of the protein.
Well, I mean, obviously there are, foods that are, protein foods. I mean, obviously, like, meats and fish, chicken, turkey, and egg whites. Those are the foods that are going to be high in protein, and those are basically high. You're going to be consuming those for muscle growth, for muscle repair, for general health. I think protein is your most important macronutrient in general. Pretty much no matter what your goal is in fitness and health, it's something that everybody should be, focused on. It is definitely the nutrient that has the highest thermic effect. So when you eat protein, your body burns the most calories actually processing it. And it's, when you're looking on food labels, obviously you want to, you're looking for a high protein content. But again, it depends on, what your, what type of food you're looking at. But, protein is definitely your number one source for body transformation. Like I said, whether it's looking to build muscle, whether it's to burn fat. I don't think that people eat enough protein in general. I think that a lot of people tend more towards eating high carbohydrate, low fat diets, and they think that's going to do something, good for their body. But it's protein that really is the driving force. Then, next that you have the carbohydrates. I think when you're looking at carbohydrates, you'll want to stay away from, too many sugars. You want to stay towards, carbohydrates that are generally low glycemic or slow burning. I mentioned a few of these before, like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa, barley, millet. These types of things are slow-burning carbohydrates. A lot of times if you have to make sure to buy things that are not, loaded with extra, sugars or additives, because you could turn a somewhat healthy food into a very unhealthy food if it's loaded with too many extras. So sometimes things are, like a rice or an oatmeal, for instance, may be flavored, and it may be flavored with sugars or something like that. So you have to read the label and make sure that it's not flavored with extra added sugars, and that you're just eating, the basic carbohydrate itself. And with fats, the basics is you don't want too many saturated fats. Obviously, some saturated fats are necessary and healthy for us. You're going to get that from your meat and your eggs and chicken even, but you don't want to, overdo the saturated fat, then it becomes unhealthy for your cardiovascular system. You want to look for healthy fats, things like artichokes, nuts such as cashews, almonds, walnuts, macadamia nuts, olive oil, excellent healthy fats, flax oil, fish oils. These types of things are very, very healthy for you, even though they're fats. They don't turn into body fat readily. They actually help your body to release more body fat, and they also perform a tremendous amount of physiological functions that are healthy and necessary for the body to stay fit and keep the immune system strong, the hair, the nails, the skin looking good. So definitely want to look for things with healthy fats in them.
What you said earlier in regards to protein, I think I agree 100%. People have more of a consumption of the carbohydrates as opposed to the protein, where protein is so much more beneficial to the human body and its needs. How much, and we went over this before, but I do want to go into it again. How much would you recommend, or on the average, a person should consume per pound of body weight?
I think for most people, a good general rule is about 1 gram per pound of body weight. The more you are into bodybuilding or strength building, I think you can go up to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, and even for the most advanced athletes, 2 grams per pound of body weight. I think that if you're just into general fitness, if you're into feeling healthy, looking healthy, keeping a healthy level of body fat, I think about 1 gram per pound of body weight is definitely an excellent way to go. For some people, this may seem like a lot if they're not used to eating a lot of protein, but the truth of the matter is that it's really not that much. If you split it up over, 4 to 6 meals per day, it's the smaller meals obviously going to digest better, make it more comfortable to eat, and people also need to realize that it is this protein that not only helps with, a lot of people, they associate protein and muscle building. Well, there's also protein and fat loss. Like I said, protein helps to drive fat loss by, it has a very high thermic effect, meaning that your body digests it, burns a lot of calories in doing so, and it also sets up your body metabolically to burn more body fat than something like carbohydrate or a fat. So very important on the protein.
Regards to a multivitamin or vitamins in general, someone starts off, the average person starts off the day, supplement and vitamin C, vitamin E, what do you recommend?
I definitely recommend that everybody take a multivitamin. I think that no matter how structured your diet is, no matter how well put together it is, I think that you're going to be missing something somewhere, especially because, even the foods that we consume don't always contain all the nutrients that they're supposed to because of processing, because of handling, because of whatever it is. Sometimes the nutrients are leached out of foods. Even sometimes cooking methods can leach nutrients out of foods. So even if your diet is perfectly healthy, I think that everybody can use a multivitamin that is high in antioxidants. It doesn't have to be something that's got some ridiculous amounts of international units in milligrams. You don't have to look for the highest of everything, but just a general 1 a day is good for most people who are eating a healthy diet, engage in exercise. If you're a bodybuilder or a very serious athlete, you might want to step up to a vitamin that's put out by a sports nutrition company who are going to gear their vitamins and the amounts and the types of nutrients that are in their vitamin packs towards people who are more performance oriented or who are burning more calories or working out more intensely. They'll include other factors in there, like perhaps like nutrients that are involved in regenerating the joints, or nutrients that help to keep cortisol levels down. Cortisol is a hormone that we release a lot in terms of when we're in stressful situations or when we're exercising intensely, and these types of things. So if you're a very a high-level athlete or a bodybuilder, you might want to stay away from the general 1 a days that you'd find at the drugstore and go for something that a sports nutrition company puts out, the same companies that put out the creatines and the proteins and that type of stuff. But I think everybody should at least take some type of multivitamin just to make sure that they cover their nutritional bases that they may be missing with their diet.
In regards to reading, anything in particular that you would advise our listeners to maybe read or gain more knowledge on pursuing a healthy lifestyle?
Well, there's tons of websites out there. Two just popped into my mind. There's one of them that's called, I believe it's called nutritiondata.com. I think it's nutritiondata.com or nutritionaldata.com. And this is, I'm sure that if you type that in, it'll probably come up. And it's a website that pretty much tells you what the nutrient content is of just about every single solitary food that's out there, even including just all the stuff that's in supermarkets, canned foods and, even snacks and that kind of stuff, so you can see what you're eating. Plus also it has like calorie counters on there and all kinds of different tools that people could use. So I think that's an excellent site for nutrition. And then as far as exercise go, there's a site called xrx.net, which I think is just exrx.net, which has tons of stuff on exercise, bodybuilding movements, plyometric movements, weightlifting, stretching, things about supplements, organizing your workout programs. Plus it also has an excellent tool of having videos and explanations of just about every exercise in existence, and I find that a very helpful tool for myself because I work with a lot of people online, and I might send them an exercise, and they may not be 100% sure how to perform it properly if they're more of a beginner or an intermediate. And so I could just send them a link to the exercise, and the video will show them exactly how to do it. So that's another excellent site for your listeners for sure.
And then, Eric, again, how to contact you for more information, and I strongly encourage you to take advantage. Eric is out of Beverly Hills from PNI, Premium Nutraceuticals, well-versed, extremely knowledgeable in any respect of your goals, whether you're a beginner to a professional athlete. Whatever your goal may be in regards to health, fitness, or exercise, I encourage you to contact Eric. And with that said, Eric, if you can reach out and give them your information.
I'm just going to, my direct email is the best way to go. That's bodyeffects2@AOL.com. That's BODY, the letter F, the letter X, the numeral 2, at AOL.com. You can email me there. And, of course, if you just type in Eric Brozer on Facebook, you'll see my Facebook pages come up, and you can feel free to inbox me there as well.
Well, Eric, it's always a pleasure, and thank you so very, very much for taking the time to share with our listeners to get them to lead a more positive, healthy lifestyle. We are with Eric Brozer, Beverly Hills, California, from PNI, Premium Nutraceuticals. Make sure you check him out. Eric, thanks a lot, and I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Rob. Take care.
Bye-bye. Again, Eric Brozer, very, very informative, great segment. I hope you took some notes, listened. Reach out if you have any questions. You can contact myself at robfletcher@ANGT.TV, or again, Eric gave you his information. In closing, I just want to share with you some healthy eating tips that you could do right away. 1, drastically reduce your sugar intake. Get rid of those sodas and juice. Replace with lots of water. Throw in a lemon or lime. Lemon will assist in the process of digestion and elimination. 2, no splurging. Smaller, more frequent meals throughout the course of the day. You hear that a lot here. 3, avoid anything that is white. Pasta, breads, rice, potatoes, cheese, and dairy. 4, avoid carbs after 5 p.m. And 5, all servings of anything you eat are the size of your fist. Portion control, very important. Low calories, low fat diet with less than 30% of calories coming from fat. Eat low fat servings of dairy, dressing, and sauces. And remember to think strong, be strong, stay strong. Life is full of challenges and obstacles, and we create our own destiny. And a lot of times, I guess we wish things to happen. The difference is that some people want things to happen. And when you wanting and wishing, that's all it is until you take action and make it happen. And in the words of Coach Vince Lombardi, the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. When something is worth or has value, it is going to take sweat, it's going to take effort. So work, baby, work, get it done, sweat, you want it no matter what it is, a better physique, a different career, pursuing a different type of lifestyle, put in the effort, make it happen, claim it. The words of Vince Lombardi, he knows. I am Rob Fletcher. This is ANGT Radio 93.5 WTBQ. Again, thank you very much to Eric Brozer. We look forward to speaking with you next week. Until then, have a super pure, positive, jet-fueled week.